Okay, just doing a check-in. I just got to the beach. I have my first open water swim today. It is a swim clinic for the sprint marathon I'm doing in October. I am not an ocean girl. I don't swim in the ocean. I did in Hawaii and that was like it. I'm scared this water's gonna be cold. I have to wear a wetsuit. I am so anxious, like full on anxious. I was like, I almost didn't come. So I'll do a check-in after. Wish me luck. Whew. Little video update. Had a full panic attack in the water, for sure. Had to come back in. Eventually I did make it out, but I need some serious help. Okay. Today was a day. I had my open water swim, and I don't know if I should say it went as planned or it did not go as planned. It didn't go how it was supposed to go, but it went how I feared it would go. I had my wetsuit on. I was super anxious this morning when I woke up super early, like really nervous about the whole thing, because I genuinely am afraid of being in the ocean. Like I really am. And today proved it. But I get there, so I'm like determined. There's no way I'm going to be able to do a triathlon, sprint, or otherwise if I don't get used to being in the ocean. So it was for this swim clinic that came with the triathlon I signed up for, and the goal was to experience it, be in the ocean, and also get some pointers on things that you can do with your swim during an open water swim and things to look out for. All well and fine. They start talking about how it's common or likely for some people that first time wearing a wetsuit, getting in the ocean, trying to like run in, all of that, like that you can have panic. That feeling of the wetsuit kind of constricting you, and then just the fact that you're in the water, like all of that. Which was what I was afraid was going to happen before I even got there, because I've watched things and they also talk about this. Well, I don't know, self-fulfilling prophecy or just genuinely my fear of the ocean got the best of me. I run in and then I'm doing the slow, like everybody's just like, you know, heading out to the first buoy. I get to a spot where it's like the water, you know, when the waves hit, they're up past here. But also, you know, like it flashes in your face. I have goggles on, which is what I use when I swim. I have, you know, swim cap, my wetsuit. The cold is not an issue. Like the water temperature was perfectly fine. But the minute I had to like put my head underwater to start like heading out, you know, to get past the break, I started flipping out. Like I could not, like it was just, my head was like my mind was racing, and I felt like full on fight or flight. And I just was like, I need to go back. And I genuinely like could not go out any further. Like I couldn't get back fast enough. And because I was panicking, you know, I wasn't paying attention to how big the waves were. So as I'm trying to go back, they're crashing over my head. So now I'm feeling like I'm drowning. And it was like every lesson I've had for swimming, whoop, was gone. And so one of the instructors, who was the most patient, amazing, encouraging man, he saw me, came back. I didn't get fully out of the water, but, you know, was back in like where the waves were closer to my waist. and just saying, I don't think I can do it. And, he just reminded me, the only way you're ever going to be able to do it is if you try, and if you just keep trying. So he slowly helped me get past the break by like, okay, now just go under the water for a second. When the wave comes, let it pass over you. So I did that multiple times. And then he's just like, okay. When I started to panic again, he's like, float on your back, which I'm really good at, like, just floating on my back. That's fine. Plus the wetsuit really helps with that. So I'm floating on my back, and then he's just like, now just kick your feet. Okay. And I'm not thinking, I'm just doing what he says. So I start kicking my feet. He's like, follow my voice as you kick your feet. And then next thing you know, I was at a buoy, and, I was excited for a second. Then I looked how far away I was from the ocean, and then I started panicking again, because I was like, okay, I think I can try to start swimming now that I'm past the part where the waves are like coming over my head. No. The minute I tried to put my face in the water while I was swimming, panic, like full-blown panic. So he's like, go back on your back. I had to go lay on my back and just really try to catch my breathing. And he had to keep reminding me, just breathe. And, this went on for a while. It went on for a while. Like, a good portion of the swim, it went on, like, of being in the water. That's what happened. So eventually he encouraged me when we, touched the buoy, like, oh yay, exciting, I get to touch the buoy. And there was another buoy, because this is supposed to be like basically a 400 yard swim. So he's like, now just do a circle around the buoy. So in order to do that, I had to swim forward. I obviously couldn't swim on my back to do that. And I do. And then he's like, now just swim back to me, like in the normal way to swim. So I try again to put my face in the water and swim back to him like a normal freestyle swim. Again, couldn't deal with the water, my face being under the water. It's like I had to have it above, and because I would just like freak out and my breathing would get screwed up. So I eventually, like, I do make it to him, and then he has me do it again. And then I noticed this little trickster, he was getting further and further away from me. And I just like, oh my God. But I would just try to get to him. Like, that was the goal. I needed to get to him because I didn't want to be by myself. Because that's my head. Like, this is how you get eaten alive by sharks in the water. You're by yourself. You look like, a fish or whatever. Although with the chaos that I was, whatever. But anyways, like the kicking and everything, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to track like a shark and I'm going to die here. And he's too far away to try to save me. So I just needed to get to him. And he kept getting further and further. And then eventually I ended up at the other buoy, which is great, But in the moment, I just then looked and I was still so far from the shore. Like, it was so terrifying to me. Like, the thought of how am I going to get back? Like, I still have to get back there. And then I had to lay on my back again to kind of calm myself down. And I just, like, when you're on your back, you can't see anything except the clouds and the sky, which is beautiful, but I don't know if I'm going too far out. I can't tell how long I have to get back. And, I touched the other buoy and he's like, all right, now let's go in. And he's still far away from me. Like, I'm still by myself at this point, which encouraged me to try to get to him. So I'm on my back and I'm trying to kick to get back to shore. But then I just had to keep trying to look up because I couldn't see. When you're on your back like that, you can't tell what direction you're going in at all. So I would turn and try to swim again, and do that for a while, but still couldn't, like, I just could not get my face in the water. It was so stressful. Like, it was so stressful and discouraging. And eventually, I I get so close to shore that I'm trying to swim, but because I'm scared to look behind me, like the wave comes over, knocks me, you know, and I'm just a mess. And eventually I get out of the water, and like there was nothing fun about this experience. Like I don't even know how to describe how not fun it was. And I'm just worried now because can't do a triathlon if you can't swim in the ocean. Like, literally starts with a swim and then a bike and a run. So it's just like, what if I can't get over this? Like, and he just kept reminding me, you know, you made it to the buoy, and then you made it to the other buoy, and all I could feel was the panic that I felt and how terrifying it was. Not the accomplishment, not anything, because it felt like survival the whole time. It didn't feel like I was doing something. It felt like I was literally just trying to survive. And that is a very scary feeling in the middle of the ocean. Like, and I know it wasn't the middle of the ocean. It's nowhere near. I could see shore. I really could. But it scared the shit out of me. Like, and it just makes me worry that this thing that I've been working so hard for and training for, like, what if I can't? So I know it's like reminding myself exposure therapy. That's how you get there. But the thought of like experiencing that again in the water is like not even just the least pleasant thing, but the most terrifying thing right now. I don't know. It is obviously something I have to get over if I intend to continue, and I did a bike ride after to try to just get myself back into like, you're capable, but it feels like a really big barrier right now to my goal. And so I'm gonna try my hardest, you know. And he told me about a weekly group that meets and they do ocean swims, and it's near where I live. So I'm gonna try that. It's just so scary to me, like having that experience again. And obviously I can't just like show up on race day and think that for some reason during race day it's gonna be okay, because it's not, unless I really train and get myself there. So yeah, that's how that went. So I just have to try again, I guess, because I'm not gonna give up. I've been working way too hard, and I'm not gonna give up. I have a month to get myself there. So that's what I'm gonna do. But any pointers from triathletes or swimmers on how to, you know, get yourself there would be really helpful. It would be really nice, because this was terrifying. And the thought of doing it again is terrifying. So yeah, that's how that went. For more content regarding triathlon training, please hit the like and subscribe button.